Welcome to the deep dive. You know those moments in soccer, the ones that just make your jaw drop?
Oh, yeah.
The kind that sort of rewrite the rules, proving that, well, heart and strategy can still sometimes triumph over sheer financial might.
Absolutely. And
Well,
we've got a perfect example of that today.
we really do. Today we're diving into a story that did exactly that, a result that didn't just defy expectations, it pretty much shredded the script of modern soccer.
It was a monumental clash, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We're talking about the recent FIFA Club World Cup quarterfinal,
Right.
a match where Brazil's Fluminense, a club operating on, let's face it, a comparatively modest budget,
Very modest, relatively speaking.
went head-to-head with Saudi Arabia's Al Hilal. And Al Hilal, I mean, this is a team that has poured over $500 million into acquiring a roster of global superstars.
$500 million. It's hard to even wrap your head around that number in a soccer context sometimes.
Exactly. So from the moment the draw was announced, this felt like a really captivating narrative, a true David versus Goliath scenario playing out right there. But the final whistle, well, that's what made it truly unforgettable. It sent shockwaves far beyond the pitch itself.
Absolutely. Our mission today, then, is to embark on a comprehensive, deep dive into this incredible upset. We've gathered insights from multiple, really detailed reports, trying to analyze every facet of this specific match. We don't just want to tell you what happened. Our goal is to uncover how and why this result has, well, reverberated through the entire soccer world, and what profound, maybe even timeless lessons it teaches us about the very essence of the sport.
Yeah, what does it really mean?
Exactly. For us, a truly memorable sports story isn't just about the expected outcome. It's about those moments when all assumptions are overturned, when the underdog defies every prediction.
Right.
And this match delivered that in spades. So yeah, let's unpack this.
Okay. So to truly grasp the immense magnitude of Fluminense's victory, I think we first need to set the stage a bit. We need to understand the new, expanded landscape of the FIFA Club World Cup, because this isn't the tournament many of us grew up with.
No, it's fundamentally different now.
FIFA has completely reimagined it. They've transformed it from that traditional, smaller, sort of 7-team affair.
Yeah, almost like an afterthought sometimes.
Right, into this sprawling 32-team spectacle.
32 teams. That's an enormous leap in scale, isn't it? And the stakes, they're equally massive. FIFA's boasting a total prize money pool reaching, what, an unprecedented $1 billion?
$1 billion,
Yeah.
The tournament itself stretches across an entire month, from June 14th to July 13th, 2025. It's taking over 12 venues spread across 11 major U.S. cities. I mean, it's been designed as a true global soccer festival.
It really feels like that, trying to capture a broader audience, offer more opportunities for clubs worldwide.
Precisely. This dramatic expansion, it was conceived with a clear strategic vision to significantly increase the tournament's global reach and, perhaps even more crucially, to foster a greater sense of competitive balance.
Right, more teams, more regions involved.
Yeah, the idea is to sort of democratize elite club soccer, giving more teams from diverse leagues around the world a legitimate high-stakes shot at global glory. And, of course, a share of that incredible prize money.
So it's a deliberate move by FIFA then, trying to decentralize power from, say, the traditional European dominance.
I think so. It's about investing more deeply in clubs from other continents. And this particular match, the one we're dissecting today, it just perfectly encapsulates the unpredictable and thrilling nature that this new expanded format was designed to introduce.
It really does. It's like the poster child for the new format's potential drama.
It's a direct, almost poetic outcome of that bold vision, you could say.
And the specific quarterfinal we're focusing on today, it took place on July 4th, 2025. Kicked off at 7:00 p.m. UTC, which for listeners in Beijing, that would have been a very early 3:00 a.m. on July 5th.
Ouch.
Yeah. The venue is Camping World Stadium in Orlando, Florida. Now, what's truly remarkable about this particular quarterfinal, even beyond the astonishing result, is that it was the only knockout stage match in the entire tournament that did not feature a European team.
That's such a critical detail, isn't it? It really highlights the tournament's stated ambition. It underscored this unique regional rivalry and the unexpected paths these two teams carved out just to get there.
Yeah, usually at this stage, you're looking at, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Man City.
Exactly. You expect to see a European giant.
Yeah.
But this was different. This was a battle between two teams from outside that traditional sphere of dominance who had both already defied expectations just to reach this point.
It definitely added a layer of intrigue, a different flavor to the high-stakes knockout rounds.
Absolutely.
And they absolutely had defied expectations. Let's trace their respective journeys to this quarterfinal, because both teams had already proven their mettle, right?
Oh, massively.
Fluminense, our dark horse Brazilian team, they'd already pulled off a significant upset in the round of 16. They secured a decisive 2-0 victory over Italian giants Inter Milan.
Inter Milan, a club known for its tactical discipline, its star power. And Fluminense didn't just edge that game, did they?
No, they controlled it. Showed surprising defensive solidity combined with these really incisive counterattacks. It was impressive.
And then you have Al Hilal, the Saudi powerhouse, the team built on all that significant investment. They arrived in this quarterfinal after their own equally surprising and frankly incredibly dramatic round of 16 victory.
Right. Who did they beat again?
They faced English titan Manchester City, one of the perennial favorites for any competition they enter.
Wow.
And in a thrilling back-and-forth encounter, Al Hilal secured a dramatic 4-3 win in extra time.
4-3 against City in extra time.
Yep. That was a huge statement victory for them. It showcased their resilience, their attacking prowess, and the ability of their star players to deliver in those high-pressure situations.
Okay, so we had two teams, both of whom had already proven they were more than capable of causing major upsets. Both had slayed giants in their own right.
Exactly.
So it set up this incredible dark horse versus dark horse scenario. But, and this is the crucial but, that really framed the entire narrative. They came from wildly different financial realities.
That's the key contrast. Al Hilal, as we mentioned, had invested over $500 million acquiring top-tier players. We're talking Ruben Neves, Kalidou Koulibaly, João Cancelo, attracting them with unprecedented salaries.
Global stars, household names.
Absolutely. Fluminenses, in stark contrast, operated on a comparatively shoestring budget, relying heavily on homegrown talent, experienced veterans, and a really cohesive team philosophy.
So that financial disparity isn't just a detail, is it? It feels like the underlying tension of the entire match.
It really is.
Yeah.
It truly sets the stage for what many would consider an almost impossible outcome. Even despite both teams' prior upset capabilities, it immediately raises that fundamental question that constantly circles modern soccer. Does money truly buy success on the field?
And this match, well, it answered that in a very compelling and perhaps surprising way.
It certainly did. And speaking of challenges, we can't ignore the environmental factor for this particular match either.
No, we absolutely can't. The conditions in Orlando, Florida that day were, well, to put it mildly, they were brutal.
Yeah, the reports highlighted extreme heat. A sweltering 32 degrees Celsius, which is about 90 Fahrenheit.
But the humidity. The humidity made it feel like over 43 degrees Celsius. That's around 110 Fahrenheit feels like temperature.
Unbelievable. I mean, I'm sweating just thinking about it from here.
Yeah.
You have to wonder how much of Al Hilal's struggle maybe was just pure exhaustion, trying to run in that kind of soup.
It must have been a huge factor. The sources mention necessary hydration breaks being taken throughout the match, which is a clear indication of the physical toll.
Oh, absolutely. Such conditions can profoundly impact player performance, stamina, tactical decisions in ways that go far beyond what we typically see on a cool, crisp European evening.
Right.
When players are battling not just their opponents, but also the oppressive elements, it introduces this huge, unpredictable variable. It can certainly level the playing field, can it? Especially against teams who might be used to cooler, drier climates.
You'd think so. Al Hilal, with many European-based stars, maybe they found these conditions particularly challenging. Could lead to earlier fatigue, maybe a decrease in explosive movements.
It's very possible. Brazilian teams, while obviously accustomed to heat, maybe rarely play in such extreme competitive environments on a global stage like this.
Yeah.
It forces coaches to think differently about substitutions, player rotation, the overall pace of the game, even tactical aggression.
So conserving energy becomes a tactical imperative itself.
Exactly. It's not just about fitness. It's about managing resources minute by minute.
So with the Orlando Heat just baking down, you have to wonder how that shaped the coach's thinking, right? Because looking beyond the physical battle, the pre-match tactical setup was already a fascinating clash of philosophies.
Definitely. On one side, you had Fluminense, under the guidance of coach Leonardo Gaucho. He's often described as a pragmatist, known for his almost ugly duckling approach to the game, as he sometimes calls it.
The ugly duckling approach. I like that.
Yeah, Gaucho's strategy is really a masterclass in making the most of what you have. His team typically employs a 4-4-2 formation, but it seamlessly shifts to a more compact 5-3-2 when defending.
Ah, creating that low block.
Exactly, a low block designed to deny space in central areas. His approach is highly defensive, built around a tight, almost suffocating defense, and then exploiting rapid counterattacking transitions.
So he understands his team's strengths and limitations, prioritizes efficiency, seizing opportunities rather than dominating possession or going for spectacle.
Precisely. It's a very, you could argue, Brazilian approach in a way, focusing on individual flair in moments of transition, but within a highly disciplined collective framework. He's a coach who truly believes in the collective spirit over individual brilliance, especially when outmatched financially.
Okay, and then across the pitch, you had Al Hilal, led by Coach Simone Inzaghi. He typically prefers a more possession-based, aesthetically pleasing style of soccer.
Right. His team often operates in a 4-3-3, pushing their fullbacks high up the pitch to create width, relying on quick 1-2s, intricate passing patterns in the final third to try and break down defenses.
So it was set up perfectly. The high-spending, possession-dominant Al Hilal brimming with individual talent against the financially constrained, defensively disciplined Fluminense.
It was a classic tactical duel, wasn't it? A real test of wills. Inzaghi's system is designed to dictate the tempo, to wear down opponents with relentless pressure and intricate passing.
So the big question was, would Al Hilal's superior individual talent, nurtured by that possession-heavy system, actually break down Fluminense's organized defensive block?
Or conversely, would Fluminense's disciplined counterattacking expose any vulnerabilities in Al Hilal's setup, particularly if their high-flying fullbacks left space behind, which can happen in those systems?
And the beauty of soccer, and this match proved it conclusively, is that tactical discipline and collective effort, when executed flawlessly, well, they can often trump individual brilliance.
Especially when those individual talents maybe aren't fully cohesive, or perhaps, as we discussed, are fatigued by the conditions. This wasn't just a passive defensive stance from Fluminense either. It was an active defensive strategy.
What do you mean by active?
Well, they weren't just sitting back and absorbing pressure. They were designed to frustrate and disarm. They weren't just reacting. They were actively channeling Al Hilal's attacks into less dangerous areas, forcing them into hopeful crosses or long shots, rather than allowing their star forwards to combine in tight spaces near the goal.
Smart. Very smart. And that tactical battle, it played out dramatically in the first half. Fluminense, true to their counterattacking form, they struck first, didn't they?
Right.
In a moment that was both beautiful and immediately impactful.
Yeah, the 40th minute. Matheus Martinelli, with an assist from Gabriel Fuentes, delivered this magnificent curved shot with his left foot, found the far corner of the net. Just beautiful.
And it was born from an El Hilal error, right? Showcasing Fluminense's ability to punish mistakes.
Indeed. The build-up started with Fluminense's tenacious midfield pressing, forcing a rushed clearance from El Hilal. João Cancelo, a player normally known for his composure,
Yeah, world-class player.
made a rare but critical clearing error under pressure. Misjudged the bounce, maybe, sent the ball directly into Fluminense's path,
Oof, costly.
instantly created the counterattacking opportunity. Fuentes reacted quickly, drove forward before laying off to Martinelli, who showed incredible composure himself to curl that shot past the keeper from outside the box. It wasn't a fluke goal. It was a consequence.
A consequence of their pressing and their clinical finishing.
Exactly. Defensive discipline forcing a mistake, then clinical finishing capitalizing with exquisite skill.
But what's truly vital about that opening goal, and a moment that had immediate and far-reaching consequences, is what happened right after Martinelli scored.
Ah, yes. The downside.
In the celebration, or maybe just after, he got a bit overzealous, committed a subsequent foul that earned him a yellow card.
That yellow card was a massive blow. A real punch to the gut for Fluminense, despite the elation of the goal, because it meant Martinelli would be suspended for the semifinal.
So in one glorious moment, they gain a crucial lead, but immediately lose a key player for their next monumental challenge, knowing they'd face either Chelsea or Palmeiras next.
It instantly tests the depth of the squad, the coach's tactical flexibility. It forces an immediate reevaluation of their plans during the halftime team talk. Psychologically, it's just a roller coaster, isn't it?
Totally. Immense joy followed by that immediate sobering reality check. Every single moment on the pitch has consequences.
Coach O would have had to address that shock, both emotionally and tactically, during the break. Big halftime talk for him.
As you can imagine, Al Hilal, a team of their caliber, their investment, they weren't just going to roll over. They came out in the second half with renewed vigor, didn't they? And swiftly responded.
Oh, yes. asserting their possession-based dominance. In the 51st minute, just 6 minutes after the restart, they found their equalizer.
Who got it?
It was Marcos Leonardo getting the close-range finish. The buildup was classic Al Hilal, really. Ruben Neves, known for his pinpoint delivery,
One of the best set-piece takers around.
delivered a precise corner kick. Kalidou Koulibaly, with his immense physical presence and aerial prowess, then flicked it on with a towering header right into the path of Leonardo. Made no mistake from close range.
So, textbook set-piece goal.
It perfectly illustrates the importance of set pieces in modern soccer, doesn't it? Especially when you have players with the aerial ability and tactical awareness of someone like Koulibaly.
It brought Al Hilal right back into the game, injected a renewed sense of belief, showed their ability to respond quickly to adversity.
Absolutely. Capitalized on a specific tactical strength. It made you wonder, didn't it? Was Fluminense's defensive resolve finally cracking under the pressure?
Yeah, you must have thought, okay, here comes the tide turning. But Fluminense, proving their resilience yet again, had another trick up their sleeve. And it came from the bench.
Coach Gaucho's management skills really shone through here. In the 70th minute, a substitute, Hercules, scored the decisive goal.
Hercules, what a name for a hero moment.
Right. He received a header pass from Samuel Xavier, a fantastic piece of vision there, executed this really clever trap inside the box to control the ball instantly, and then unleashed a low shot into the bottom left corner.
Clinical, sheer composure.
Incredible composure and clinical execution under immense pressure. Just fantastic.
And this wasn't Hercules' first act of heroism in this tournament, was it?
No. That's what makes it even more remarkable. This was actually his second crucial knockout stage goal as a substitute. He also came off the bench to score against Inter Milan in the round of 16.
Wow, the super sub.
It's a testament not just to Hercules' individual talent and readiness, but also to truly effective squad management by Gaucho. In a grueling tournament, especially in those brutal conditions, having players on the bench who can come in, adapt instantly, and immediately impact the game. It's invaluable.
Speaks volumes about the depth and readiness of the Fluminense squad. Their emerging super sub tradition, you could almost call it, really came to define their journey to the semis.
And it shows the coach knew exactly what he was doing by bringing him on for the yellow-carded Martinelli at halftime. It wasn't just a like-for-like replacement. It was a calculated move that paid off spectacularly.
When you look at the raw statistics from this match, they tell such a fascinating story, particularly when you contrast efficiency with possession.
Yeah, the numbers are quite revealing. Fluminense had 10 total shots, with 3 on target. Al Hilal had 14 total shots, also with 3 on target.
Okay, so same number of shots on target, but a crucial difference in outcome. 2 goals to 1.
And the expected goals, or XG metric, reinforces this. For those maybe unfamiliar, XG is a statistical measure that estimates how likely a shot is to result in a goal, based on factors like shot location, body part used, type of play, that kind of thing.
Right.
Fluminense's XG was a mere 0.74. Al Hilal's was higher, at 0.91. Yet, Fluminense scored 2 goals and Al Hilal only 1.
So statistically, Al Hilal created slightly better chances in terms of probability, but Fluminense were far more lethal with theirs.
Exactly. It's a classic, almost textbook example of what we often see in soccer. Possession doesn't automatically equate to effective chances or goals. Al Hilal dominated possession, holding over 60% overall.
And even more at the end, right.
A staggering 70% in the last 15 minutes of the match. But they just couldn't convert that control into goals.
So despite controlling the ball for vast stretches, particularly in those crucial final minutes when they were desperately pushing for an equalizer, Al Hilal simply couldn't break down Fluminense's defense.
Nope. Fluminense, on the other hand, were incredibly efficient, converting 2 of their 3 shots on target into goals. It truly underlines a nuanced version of the money can't buy goals narrative.
Yeah, maybe it's more like money can't buy clinical finishing under pressure, or impenetrable tactical defensive solidity.
That's a good way to put it. You can have all the possession in the world, you can have all the individual talent, but if you don't create and convert clear-cut opportunities, it means very little at the final whistle.
So true. It's not just about how much of the ball you have.
But what you do with it.
Yeah.
And crucially, what you prevent the opponent from doing. Fluminense's defensive unit was simply outstanding, a collective masterpiece of organization and individual brilliance.
And their clinical finishing in key moments, essentially converting every truly dangerous opportunity, just made all the difference.
Their collective defensive effort was foundational to this upset. They meticulously closed down passing lanes, blocked shots, and we saw outstanding individual performances there too, Juan Pablo Freitas and Ignacio, for
The
instance.
center backs.
Yeah, they were absolute bulwarks at the back, each recording 9 clearances, just consistently repelling Al Hilal's increasingly desperate attacks.
And let's not forget the ageless wonder in goal, 44-year-old Fabio. He made crucial saves throughout the match, didn't he?
Oh, absolutely. His experience and composure in the net were game-changing. I mean, a 44-year-old goalkeeper, that's practically prehistoric in professional soccer years.
My knees hurt just hearing that. What does a player like Fabio, alongside their 40-year-old captain Thiago Silva, bring that maybe pure youth simply lacks in a pressure cooker like this?
That's a fantastic question. Without a doubt, Fabio made several vital stops. I remember a crucial save on a powerful header from Koulibaly early in the second half that could have completely changed the game's momentum.
Yeah, that could have been 2-1 Al Hilal if that went in.
Exactly. But beyond the saves, players like Fabio and Thiago Silva bring an immense sense of calm, experienced positioning, non-verbal leadership to the backline. They communicate constantly, they organize the defense, they anticipate danger in ways younger players are still learning.
So their presence instills confidence in the entire team, especially when Al Hilal was pressing hard.
Absolutely. It's those unsung heroes, isn't it? The veteran defenders,
Right.
the experienced goalkeeper. They often don't grab the headlines, but are absolutely foundational to an upset like this, preventing the individual brilliance of an opponent from becoming decisive.
Speaking of crucial moments, we also have to talk about the VAR controversy. That occurred right at the end of the first half, didn't it? 45th minute.
Yeah, huge moment. Al Hilal was initially awarded a penalty after Samuel Xavier was judged to have touched Marcos Leonardo in the box, potentially game-changing decision right before halftime.
And this is where the plot thickened, added another layer of drama to an already intense match. The Dutch referee, Danny Mackley, he decided to personally review the VAR footage.
Right. And for clarity, VAR is meant to intervene only on clear and obvious errors or serious missed incidents. In this case, the referee initially saw contact that led him to award the penalty on the field.
And then he went to the monitor.
After a lengthy review on the pitchside monitor, he ultimately overturned the penalty, ruled it to be normal contact, typical of what you'd see in a tightly contested penalty area, not enough for a foul.
And that decision, as you can imagine, sparked immediate and incredibly strong protests from the Al Hilal players. They felt seriously aggrieved.
Oh, they were absolutely furious. Kalidou Koulibaly, in particular, was visibly and vocally upset. He stated afterwards something like, "I don't understand the referee's decision. If VAR is used in the first half, it should be used in the second half too," implying a perceived inconsistency maybe.
Yeah, and he later even received a yellow card for diving late in the game, 98th minute or something, which only added to his immense frustration, perhaps hinted at a loss of composure.
Definitely.
What do you think the referee saw, though, that made him change his mind on the penalty? It's a big call to overturn your own decision.
It's always difficult to say definitively from the outside, but typically in these situations, the referee might determine that the contact, while maybe present, wasn't enough to impede the players significantly, or maybe it was initiated by the attacking player, or perhaps it was just a natural part of a shoulder-to-shoulder challenge.
So not a clear and obvious error to not give it, essentially.
Possibly.
Mm.
Overturning a penalty after going to the monitor is a bold call, especially just before halftime. And such controversial decisions, particularly at such a pivotal moment right before the break, can absolutely impact game momentum and player morale.
For Al Hilal, it must have felt like a huge psychological blow. Denied a chance to equalize, maybe fueling a sense of injustice.
Definitely. And for Fluminense, it was an immense relief. A major boost in confidence knowing their defensive efforts were validated, perhaps. It absolutely reignites that ongoing debate about VAR's consistency and its application.
Oh, always.
Something that still plagues soccer officiating globally, where the line between clear and obvious and subjective interpretation remains so blurry sometimes.
Just imagine, what if that penalty had stood? A 1-1 scoreline at halftime. That would have completely changed the tactical dynamic of the second half for both teams.
Completely different game.
Now, beyond the individual performances, the power of substitutes was a recurring and defining theme for Fluminense in this tournament, wasn't it?
Absolutely pivotal.
We already mentioned Hercules scoring the winner after replacing the yellow-carded Martinelli at halftime, which in itself was a brilliant piece of coaching intuition or maybe necessity becoming a virtue.
It's an incredible story, truly.
Mm-hmm.
To come in, At halftime, especially as a replacement for someone who just scored but also got suspended for the next game,
Yeah.
and then to score the decisive goal yourself.
Yeah, talk about pressure.
It highlights not just Hercules' individual talent and composure under pressure,
Hmm.
but also the coach's unwavering confidence in his bench players. It speaks to their readiness, their tactical awareness, their mental fortitude to just seize the moment.
And Fluminense, in fact, had an impressive record with subs in this tournament overall, right?
They did. 4 goals scored by substitutes in this Club World Cup, which apparently is second only to Manchester City's 5.
That's a staggering statistic, especially for a team of their financial standing compared to City.
It really underscores the importance of squad depth and bench strength, doesn't it? Especially in a grueling tournament like this, under those extreme weather conditions we discussed.
It's not just about your starting 11 anymore. It's truly about the entire roster and how effectively you can utilize your full complement of players throughout the game.
Absolutely. The ability to bring in fresh legs, players who can maintain or even elevate the intensity and tactical discipline, especially late in the game or in challenging climates, it's a critical factor for success in modern tournament soccer.
It's about having players who understand the system, can slot in seamlessly, and provide a new attacking impetus or maybe some defensive solidity when needed.
Exactly. And we saw other key substitutions from both sides too, didn't we? Like Everaldo replacing Carrillo for Fluminense in the 68th minute, maybe to add more defensive stability or fresh legs up front.
And Al Hilal brought on Abderrazak Hamdallah for Cano around the 75th minute as they were desperately pushing for that equalizer.
Right. Multiple late game changes as both teams pushed for a result. These tactical adjustments, these in-game decisions by the coaches, they're often what separates winning teams from those that fall just short in these high-stakes matches.
Moving beyond the tactics and the numbers for a moment, there were profound emotional currents swirling around this match, particularly for Al Hilal, it seems. But let's start with the coaches' corners. Renato Gaucho, Fluminense's coach. He was a picture of humble pride and defiant confidence after the match.
He certainly was. He's been known to famously state that soccer is decided on the field, which you can read as a subtle but pointed dig at the vast financial disparities that often dictate the sports narrative.
Yeah, the ugly duckling line again.
Exactly. He even referred to his own team as ugly ducklings in terms of budget when compared to the other quarterfinal contenders, really embracing that underdog status. It's a narrative he actively cultivates, emphasizing that grit, collective spirit, and tactical acumen can truly overcome financial might.
And he highlighted the collective effort, but he also singled out his 40-year-old captain, Thiago Silva, for special praise, didn't he?
He did. He said, he is the coach on the field. He transmits calmness and experience to the other players. In difficult matches against top clubs, it is crucial to have a player like him.
That speaks volumes about the invaluable nature of leadership and experience in high-pressure situations, especially when your team is facing a financially superior opponent.
Silva's mere presence and communication must have settled the nerves of his younger teammates enormously.
And then on the other side, we had Simone Inzaghi, Al Hilal's coach. He was remarkably gracious in defeat, by all accounts, but he made a very mysterious and intriguing reference, didn't he, to external events affecting his players' performance.
Yeah, that was curious. He specifically said he chose not to go into detail about it, which of course immediately sparked speculation among journalists and fans alike.
You hear that and you think, what external events could be so significant as to impact a professional soccer team in such a high-stakes match, especially one loaded with such expensive talent?
It certainly left a cloud of intrigue over his post-match comments, a hint that there was more to the story than just the on-field performance. However, when you connect the dots and look at the context of the day, it points to a very somber pre-match moment that likely weighed heavily on some of his key players.
And this is where the human element really comes into play, doesn't it? Highlighting that athletes are not just machines, immune to the world around them.
Exactly. Before the match, there was a solemn moment of silence observed. It was for Liverpool forward Diogo Jota and his brother, Andre Silva, who had tragically died in a car crash on July 3rd, just the day before the match.
Oh, wow. That's awful.
And here's the crucial connection that brings Inzaghi's comment into sharp focus. Al Hilal has 2 prominent Portuguese players, Ruben Neves and João Cancelo, both absolute linchpins of their squad.
Right. Core players for them.
Both would undoubtedly have been profoundly impacted by the news of their compatriot's tragic passing.
Yeah.
Especially so suddenly, so violently. it's highly probable, bordering on certain, that Inzaghi's external events comment was a veiled but compassionate reference to the emotional toll this tragedy took on his players, particularly those two key Portuguese internationals.
That adds an entirely different, poignant layer to the game's unpredictability, doesn't it? And the immense pressures professional athletes face. It reminds us that they carry the weight of personal emotions, grief, the world's tragedies onto every field, even the biggest stages.
It's a powerful reminder that behind the jerseys and the massive salaries, there are human beings dealing with life, just like the rest of us.
Absolutely. And the reaction to this upset, both from fans and the media, was predictably intense, right?
Oh yeah, completely. Yeah. On social media, the hashtag Fluminense Gigante, which means Fluminense Giant, it trended massively in Brazil, almost immediately after the final whistle.
I bet.
The Diazian video of Hercules' winning goal went viral, shared countless times. And videos of just euphoric Brazilian fans celebrating their miraculous advancement flooded the internet. Just raw, unbridled joy.
And the media coverage reflected all the various angles and narratives of this remarkable story, too, I assume.
Completely. ESPN, for instance, heavily emphasized the David versus Goliath narrative, focusing on that stark financial disparity and the triumph of the underdog against seemingly insurmountable odds.
Makes sense for them.
Reuters, the global news agency, described Fluminense's journey as a fairy tale, capturing the magical, unexpected nature of their success and its sort of feel-good appeal.
And Al Jazeera.
Given its global perspective, they focus more on the broader theme of the tournament's unpredictability, highlighting how other European giants had made early exits, effectively opening the door for unexpected narratives like Fluminense's.
What's also worth noting, and probably contributed significantly to the virality of the upset, is that DAZN provided free streaming for this particular match.
Ah, it's interesting.
Which made it one of the most accessible Club World Cup matches in history. It allowed a massive global audience to witness this monumental upset live, amplifying its reach and emotional impact.
That accessibility is huge, isn't it? It means more people witness this upset live, really amplifying its reach and impact.
Yeah.
Each media outlet framed the story through its own lens, highlighting different facets, but they all converged on the central theme. This was a truly significant and unexpected result that transcended mere soccer statistics.
It wasn't just a game, it was a moment that captured the imagination of soccer fans worldwide.
Exactly.
This victory carries immense historical significance for Fluminense, far beyond just the scoreline too. They are now officially the first Brazilian team to reach the Club World Cup quarterfinals under this new expanded format. That's a trailblazing achievement for their nation.
Huge for Brazilian club soccer. But beyond the pure sporting glory, there's that staggering financial windfall involved that truly transforms the club.
Right. The money. How much was it again?
They stand to gain an astonishing $60.8 million in prize money from this victory alone.
$60.8 million? For a club like Fluminense, that's astronomical.
It's truly transformative for the club, fundamentally altering their future trajectory. To put that into perspective, that figure is equivalent to a staggering 81.7% of their entire revenue from the previous year.
81% of their annual revenue from one tournament run.
Yes. This isn't just a bonus. It's an economic lifeline. This influx of capital can be used to pay down debts, invest in critical infrastructure improvements at their training facilities, bolster their youth development programs, or crucially, retain their best players, rather than being forced to sell them to wealthier European clubs.
Which happens all the time with South American clubs.
All the time. So it not only provides immense financial relief, but it also significantly elevates the standing of South American soccer on the global stage, proving that clubs from outside Europe can indeed compete and triumph at the highest level in this new format. It offers a blueprint and renewed hope for similar clubs across the continent and beyond.
On the flip side, though, this was undoubtedly a costly lesson for Al Hilal. As we've mentioned repeatedly, they invested over $500 million in star players, bringing in some of the biggest names in the game.
Yeah.
To exit at the quarterfinal stage, especially to a team with just a fraction of their budget, that must be an incredibly disappointing and sobering outcome after such a massive financial outlay.
It really sparks that crucial and ongoing discussion within modern soccer, doesn't it? Does vast financial investment guarantee success? This outcome strongly suggests that while money can certainly buy individual talent, it doesn't automatically buy team cohesion, tactical discipline, or those intangible factors.
Like resilience, collective spirit, mental fortitude.
Exactly. Those things that often define champions. It forces clubs like Al Hilal to reassess their strategy. Perhaps the focus needs to shift beyond simply accumulating individual talent to effectively integrating those star players into a cohesive unit, fostering chemistry, ensuring they can perform under pressure, even when facing a team that, on paper, they should easily overcome.
It's a stark reminder that the human element, the tactical nous, the collective will, they still matter, sometimes more than pure financial might.
Absolutely.
And this brings us really to the philosophical heart of soccer, the core message that this match just screams from the rooftops. Money, for all its power and influence in the modern game, ultimately cannot buy victory on the pitch.
Absolutely. Fluminense's triumph wasn't about outspending their opponents. It was about the triumph of a collective spirit, forged through shared belief, impeccable tactical discipline executed with precision, and that clinical finishing in those critical, often fleeting moments.
It's a testament to the power of a unified team, isn't it? Where every player understands their role and sacrifices for the common goal over just a mere collection of expensive, high-profile individuals.
I couldn't agree more.
And the contributions of those ageless wonders, 40-year-old captain Thiago Silva, 44-year-old goalkeeper Fabio, just remarkable. They showcase that experience, leadership, communication, wisdom. Sometimes they can trump youth and raw talent, especially under the immense pressure of a global tournament.
They were the calm in the storm, guiding their younger teammates. You saw it clearly in the statistics, too. Al Hilal's 70% possession in the final 20 minutes yielded absolutely nothing against Fluminense's resolute defense.
It's such a powerful illustration that controlling the ball doesn't necessarily mean controlling the game or creating effective chances.
Efficiency and opportunism, capitalizing on your moments, are paramount. Fluminense scored 2 goals from just 3 shots on target. That's efficiency defined. A masterclass in making every touch count when it matters most.
It's less about how much of the ball you have
and more about what you do with it, and crucially, what you prevent the opponent from doing.
This match, then, feels like a beacon for the broader application of this lesson across all levels of the sport. It connects to the enduring appeal of soccer itself, doesn't it?
Definitely.
Its inherent unpredictability, the possibility of underdog triumphs, the undeniable power of passion, unity, belief over pure financial might in an increasingly commercialized sport. It's why we love this game, right? It still holds onto its magical, unpredictable core, offers hope that the unexpected can still happen.
It truly is. It's the fairy tale that keeps us coming back, reminding us that sometimes the heart of the game beats strongest when the odds are stacked against you, proving that the spirit of competition can indeed humble the giants.
So, to recap the key takeaways from this incredible deep dive into Fluminense's upset, we've witnessed the triumph of collective spirit, surgical tactical execution, and unwavering emotional resilience, all overcoming sheer financial power and a roster of individual superstars. We hope this deep dive leaves you, the listener, with a fresh, perhaps even reinvigorated perspective on what truly defines success on the soccer pitch.
And here's maybe a thought-provoking question for you to ponder as you go about your day. In a world where these mega transfers dominate headlines and money just floods into soccer, does Fluminense's victory signal a hopeful return to the sport's roots, where heart and strategy can still genuinely humble the giants?
It's certainly food for thought. Looking ahead, Fluminense's fairy tale journey continues. They're set to face Chelsea in the semifinal on July 8th at MetLife Stadium.
Another huge test.
It'll be a tough challenge, especially without Matheus Martinelli, who's suspended because of that yellow card. But with their newfound belief, anything feels possible now, doesn't it?
You wouldn't bet against them now, would you? And it's interesting to note Thiago Silva's comment, apparently supporting both Chelsea, his former club, and Palmeiras, who are playing in the other semifinal. A fascinating layer of personal connection for their captain.
Hedging his bets, maybe.
Yeah.
Or just respecting his connections.
It just goes to show, in soccer, the stories never really end. There's always another angle, another connection.
That's all the time we have for this deep dive. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.